following program is rated TV MAL. It contains strong language and is intended only for mature audiences.
TBS, America's #1 independent television network, presents the following sports exclusive.
You're listening to Basically a Sports Show.
Follow us on Twitter at Basically Sports.
Subscribe to our podcast on iTunes.
And check out every episode of the show at basicallysports.tumblr.com.
Now here's your hosts, Zach,
Greg, Mike.
And this is Andy, and you're listening to Basically a Sports Show.
And here we are, Bass. Is this number 560?
If I had to guess, that would be where I would guess it would be. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just Andy and I so far. Zach is going to be out tonight because it's high school football season, and that makes him very, very busy. Guy takes his job seriously. I don't know what his problem is, but okay. And we just sent out a bat signal for Mike, so he should be here shortly. So as of right now, we have more people watching the stream than we do on the show. So that's good, I guess. But we're here, and
yeah. I mean, so we were kind of discussing the whole a weird day yesterday. Just kind of rehash for those who don't know who was playing. It was at the Rockies, and it was the Marlins.
Marlins and Rockies, right?
Yeah. So, and then some point of the game, there was I assume a black or darker skinned player at bat, and then you know the voice you heard a gruff, kind of low voice shouting in the background, what sounded like a hard R N-word with like some vinegar in it, you know, and so immediately the outrage poured in. You had the broadcasters, I think the Marlins broadcasters were disgusted, you know, and you know, people on Twitter, of course, were having major reactions and you know, pounding the table for something to happen, and we were all pretty thrown off too last night in our text group text thread, and then this morning we found out that apparently for those who don't know, which is many people don't know, but they know now, that the Colorado Rockies mascot his name is Dinger, and he's a dinosaur or something,
Right.
And apparently this fan, he's like a triceratops looking thing. Apparently a fan was waving at this mascot, trying to get his attention, saying, "Dinger, Dinger." But he probably had 5-6 innings worth of beer in him, and just had one of those voices that carries very, very well in a, you know, half-empty ballpark. And yeah, so it was
he was unfortunately dragging out a word that probably shouldn't have been dragged out the way he was doing it.
Hell no.
Top of it, and shouting at the top of his lungs. And we talked about this earlier, but I think it was because when I saw it, it was basically, listen to this guy yelling this racist slur.
Yeah.
And it was one of those things where, and I used this reference already, but it's like where if you sit down with like somebody and they'll go, look, we're going to play Stairway to Heaven backwards, and it's going to say Hail Satan. That's what you're going to hear is Hail Satan. And then I saw the Dinger thing today, and I'm like, oh boy. Because you and I was ready to throw his ass off the top of the stadium last night. This guy, I was done. It was like, that's it. I'm going to stomp him out, toss him off the top balcony, and that's going to be the end of it. But yeah, it's
well, that was the other thing we mentioned in pre-show, kind of bantering, that, you know, we were pissed off, and as was, you know, basically the entire internet. But yet, if you're looking at the footage of the game, it's this kind of business as usual. The players don't react. The guy at bat has no reaction. The crowd, you know, usually when shit goes down, whether it's a great catch at a foul ball or you know, some guy spills his beer, you know, some weird like that, fans, you'll see them react.
Yeah.
In this case, nobody batted an eye, which made it all the more unusual, but also kind of, I think, rightfully so, pinged a few spider senses to where they, you know, did a little bit of footage using, or did a little bit of sleuth work, looking at the footage from before. And I guess there were some other fans shouting for Dinger. And maybe this guy was like, hey, Dinger's not looking over here. I'm just going to shout it loudly. And you could see him. He's waving to, like, I think his left, trying to not even looking at the plate at bat.
When you look at a zoomed out shot of what was going on, it is obvious he is pointing right at the mascot.
Yeah.
That's who he's yelling at. And it was just one of those things where, you know, I'm not making an excuse because we all jumped to a conclusion, and it was once the evidence came out, you're like, oh, I liked your idea though of renaming the mascot.
Yeah, I posited a few of them on my Twitter account. There, you can basically sports. You can see my ideas, but yeah, Pete Ophelia.
I liked Mustard Funker was my
Mustard Funker. Yeah, he's the prankster hot dog. Fans want to have a hot dog prank. They can wave Mustard Funker and just shout it real loud.
Yeah.
Especially if it's televised broadcast, nationally televised.
Of course, the more the merrier at that point. Then you want everybody yelling it.
People were pointing out some interesting times this has happened in the past and in different circumstances. So I can't remember when this game was, maybe 2013 or so. This is where I'm sure if Mike and or Zach were here, they would correct me because they probably remember it quite well. But there was a game where a puck was sent back past the blue line, and you heard one of the, I think it was the Capitals, one of the caps on the bench was saying, rag the puck, and apparently the player didn't hear it. And so multiple players started to shout, rag it. And I guess the act of ragging the puck, and I'm loosely familiar with this, is basically you just hang on to the puck and delay as long as possible, whether it's for waiting for a whistle or waiting for a line change or something like that, I think. And somebody will probably correct me in the comments, but oh my God, LMU wins the day when you have, quote, then you have my volleyball playing uncle who named his cat Digger. Oh no. Oh no! Oh my God! But yeah. So anyway, after this came out,
that could go wrong.
No, that's Jesus. But apparently, this was picked up on the game mics, and outrage.
Sure.
People, and I mean, there have been cases where, like Andrew Shaw, famously in a playoff game, got caught dropping the F version of that word, and that it was legit. It wasn't a rag it, kind of a thing. It wasn't a hockey term, but in this case it is. Ragging the puck, I guess, is a very old bit of hockey terminology. And so that was another thing where there was outrage until people kind of took a minute and were like, well, we got the whole story, and it's just, we're pissed off about nothing, essentially. So
then again, though, you do have it. Maybe I'm remembering this completely wrong, and somebody tell me if I am, but haven't there been videos of fans that, I hate to blame Philadelphia for this, but that's who immediately comes to mind.
Sure.
Where they've literally got them on video yelling horrible things at people. I mean, so it's not like it doesn't happen, which is part of the problem as well. If this was something that just never, ever happened, you go, oh yeah, well, we get it. But because it seems to happen, not a lot, but more than it ever should, we immediately assume the worst. And yeah. I we were talking about this too, like the crowd. If he had really been yelling that, somebody would have been all over him. I mean, come on. And then I said the guy at the plate showed remarkable restraint. Never even looked at him, and that's what made me think, he wasn't hearing what we were hearing, I think, is what the difference is here.
Yep. And that's one of the things I think that gave it away almost immediately, that something wasn't right here, because I know that it's, among not polite society, but just among, being out in the world and everything, when you're in a group of people, whether it's at the grocery store or whatever, if you see an outburst or somebody acting a fool, I guess, there's like a larger portion of the population that will mostly just ignore it, or just kind of put their eyes down, or just people just kind of have an aversion to that stuff, but I feel like at a baseball game where you're kind of all there for a unified purpose, is that, especially when your kids are around, you got kids at ball games and stuff like that, there would be numerous people that would be like immediately after the guy, maybe not necessarily in a physical altercation, but like pointing out security and like going to the guy and getting in his face and telling him, it's like, you get your ass out of here. You would have had players probably that would have heard it and immediately gone like, nah, we're not doing that shit. The umpire may have even stopped the game to remove the guy if it was depending on the situation. But there's, when there was no reaction at all that was from the field or the stands, then you had to kind of think this wasn't thought through all the way.
Yeah. And again, like I said, if you read it, like the first place I saw it was a Jerry Hairston Jr. He must be an announcer for someone or something. I don't know, but he tweeted it and he made it very clear. This is horrible. This is what you're hearing. And so of course I went into it thinking that's what I was going to hear. And it's exactly what I heard. And you can't blame people for being mere mortals and just going, okay, this is what there's a term for it. It's called auditory something or other, where if you are given a suggestion of what you're going to hear, that's what you're going to hear. And I think that happened with a lot of people based on Hairston's tweet. And again, can't really blame them because it sure sounded like it until you got all the rest of the evidence and went, oh, wait a minute. So,
yeah.
And I would hope, I thought about this last night too. I was like, it would take some monumental stupidity to stand up at a baseball game behind home plate where there are microphones everywhere and start yelling like that. And I thought, this guy's the dumbest fucking person that's ever lived, or something's not quite adding up here. So I don't know. The Rockies came out pretty harshly yesterday, and I think today they've apologized or whatever.
Yeah,
but
they made good with everything as far as I can tell. And I think that they had to get out ahead of it, obviously, because it was home ballpark and everything. And so they I think they've quieted. They didn't release the guy's name. They didn't, he didn't get like doxxed or exposed or anything like that. Thankfully,
right.
This shit has gone bad. In some ways, big or small. Once you have your internet detectives on the case, so
yeah, that wouldn't take a lot really to track him down, and
especially because with those seats, you're a season ticket holder more than likely, and you'd be there multiple times, and there's always somebody who's like, yeah, that's Joe Bob Smith, and it's
we sit by him all the time. We've got season tickets; he's always there. One of those deals,
right? But
yeah, Chaos Blast is like I said, misheard song lyrics, exactly same idea. Here's a Dodgers analyst, huh? Wow, interesting.
But yeah, so that was, and all's well ends well kind of thing. Just
thank goodness.
But it wasn't the only time somebody dropped a racial slur on TV accidentally. Because somebody, I'll see if I can pull it up here. Now, this kind of connects also to the issue that I was going to bring up about the fellow kids and everything like that. I have tried like hell to get my internet service to be better, and I guess there's just too much streaming and sharing shit happening. Because it whenever we try to do our game stuff, it doesn't like that very much. But so this was on ESPN. Now I kind of want to run it through you first before I play this. It's only like a 5-second clip, but I mean, this lady basically says, the broadcaster, she means to say dinger.
Oh no.
And it doesn't come out that way. Do you want to? Shall we hear it? Or
I think that. As long as she's not intentionally saying it, I think
she's not. She's certainly not. But I mean, it's a mistake. And so let's go ahead.
Got to play it now.
So again, this trigger warning. If this is not an intentionally hard slur, it just comes out that way. So here we go. ESPN.
His 2-run stinger in the second inning.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
but you can see, I mean, that kind of illustrates the point where, unfortunately, I think the Rockies might want to come up with a better name.
That's why. Yeah. I think that one was going to certainly be. And what a weird year for the Rockies. They get like handed the All-Star game with these, shitty uniforms that were holdovers, and they have to hodgepodge all that crap together. And then there's all this drama about Trevor Story and the trade deadline, and nothing happens. Now you've got this misheard racial slur. I thought that was the ironic part. It was like they took the All-Star game out of Atlanta and gave it to Denver because of racial shit, and then this happens. Yeah. With last night. Now again, like all's well that ends well, like you said, and unfortunately, but might be really seriously time. Maybe change his name to Tater or something. It's not as easily screwed up. I mean, it's a triceratops. It has several like horns. It's called horny. It's horny. Easy to remember. Horny the dinosaur. Anyway,
but knew that you would get the most mature and journalistic approach to this thing coming here, of course, obviously.
Marketing geniuses here,
right? Exactly. Dino, call him fucking Dino after the Flintstones or whatever. I don't care, but Dinger. That's probably not the last time that's going to happen. Just saying.
No, yeah, and I remember. There was I don't know what it's called when you have a flub like that. It's not a tongue twister or whatever. It's just when you're in the broadcasting industry and you say like the two that I know of that happen all the time are blown save and solo homer becoming blown slave and solar homo. So I mean, these things happen. It's just your mind processes too fast for your mouth to keep up with. I don't know about Freudian slip. Freudian slip is
a Freudian slip implies that it's kind of something you think and it just slips out.
Right.
This is more of just I think a tongue twister is probably the best way to describe it.
I'm sure there's an industry term for what that is, but it's just
it's called oh fuck.
It's called do I still have a job?
Right.
But
it's called update the resume.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah. So these things do happen. We have to just move on, and it's not, again, it's innocent. It's all innocent in this case. Thank you.
Not forget the most famous one of all, Steve Levy on ESPN with the bulging disc. Oh
my God,
became one of the most famous bloopers of all time.
And there was a Bears.
Charlie Steiner's reaction to it was better than anything else. If I see, but I might be conflating two things here, where Charlie Steiner wasn't even there, but he was cracking up about something else. But to me, in my head, that's where it is. But yeah, the bulging disc.
But there was I can't remember her name. I'll have to look it up. But there was this is oh God, probably 20 years ago now. During a Bears game, Dick Stockton was on the call, and he was in the booth, and there was a reporter on the field who was talking to Bears head coach Dick Duran. And as she said, let's go down to whoever on the field with Dick Duran. And she says, "Thanks, Dick. Now I'm talking here with Dick Duran." She goes, "Oh, 2 dicks. Wow." And it was one of those things where after it happened, you knew it was just that's going to be in circulation for all of Chicago sports radio for 100 years.
Yeah. Oh, was it okay? Was it Olbermann? Was the other guy in the bulging disc? I don't remember. I remember the Chaos Blast.
That's great shit.
I remember that Charlie Steiner is a clip of Charlie Steiner just absolutely losing it, and like I said, I might be putting the two together when they're not even related. I think you're right. It was Olbermann. I don't know what I remember with Charlie Steiner, but he lost his shit one time on the air, and it was just really funny.
And now the age.
Here, I'll pull it up here for you. Here, we can give it a whirl.
All right.
See how the old internet does without Mike and Zach taking up my bandwidth.
Yeah, it's working great. Maybe we should just clear those guys. Here we go.
And now the agent for Hurst has come out and said he will file a grievance against the Patriots that, according to NFL rules, the club should not have been able to release his client because he was injured. The agent claims that at the request of the team, Hurst has been playing with a bulging disc in his neck since the start of the season. Patriots spokesperson declined comment on the matter. Others that are banged up from around the NFL.
Wow.
Jeff Hostetler re-injured his left shoulder on this hit by Chad Hennings.
You can hear
late
losing
in the
his
first
shit.
half of the Cowboys-Raiders games. Status to be addressed on Wednesday. Giants quarterback Dave Brown left in the fourth quarter.
Oh, fuck, I remember Dave Brown.
Knocked out of him in the game against the Eagles. As far as the Lions quarterback is concerned, Scott Mitchell sprained right ankle when Jim Flanagan rolled into him. Status is day-to-day. Eagles quarterback Rocky Pete. You said it. Suffered a bruised hip flexor in the first half of Sunday's Eagles-Giants game. Did not return. He's expected to be back.
Eagles uniforms look good, don't they?
Yeah. His teammate suffered a dislocated left shoulder. He's expected to miss 2 weeks.
It's all falling apart.
Jaguars quarterback Mark Brunell on this fine play, running into the end zone for the touchdown. Straightened his right.
Good too there.
Yeah. Great look.
Man, there is nothing wrong with these injuries. This is not funny. This is serious stuff. Finally, the Bengals.
I don't want to see that part.
His lower left leg. Francis out for the year. My apologies. Not laughing at the injured. Other injuries, thank you. Other injuries without the pretty picture. Strickland knee. Jones, the Cowboys' leading tackler, groin. Minter shoulder. Lockman sprain. And the ankle sprain. And thanks for your help, Keith.
Something wrong, perhaps. All right, now to the haven of college sports where
you got to give the you know what, that's pretty good that they were able to get through that as well as they did.
No kidding. That was really like I expected there to be more of like a breakdown, but I mean he came out with it so heavy, just bulging dick.
Bulging dick in the neck. That is a problem for sure.
That's a tough injury. Yeah, it's hard to get over that one. Bulging dick in the neck. Don't ever want those.
Yeah. So Steve Levy, fortunately, isn't he doing Monday Night Football this year now? Am I wrong about that?
I couldn't tell you. It changes too often now.
Yeah, it really has. It's become ridiculous, kind of.
Let's
But
see.
yeah, so there you go. There,
Bonnie Bernstein is who made the Two Dicks Wow statement. I don't know if she's still in the industry. I'm going to see if I can find a clip of it.
She was like big on ESPN for a while too. I don't know where she ended up. Did she do college football? Anybody out there know? Did she do college football? I know Bonnie Bernstein. I mean, she was on ESPN a lot. But
all right, this
Two dicks.
so this is just the audio of it.
Two dicks. Wow.
well,
Yeah.
no,
I mean,
girl.
two is more than one. You know, it's a lot to. I'd be pretty surprised, especially if you weren't expecting it. You know?
Right, exactly. She was. yeah. Hey, cool. All right, too. What?
Ooh, neat. All right.
More is always better.
But
Yeah.
I wish I knew what the hell was going on with Mike. I mean, Zach's accounted for.
Yeah, I don't know. He's done this before though, where you get nervous and like, well, you know what? He's probably out in traffic in Tampa.
He could be out in traffic, could be taking a nap. I don't know.
No,
Hope he's on.
he usually when he's this late, he's caught in traffic because it's. If you've ever been to Tampa, you know that you can't get anywhere fast there. It's just the way it goes. And if you get caught in one of those fucking like strings of traffic, oh, Michael Walker says she was a CBS Sports for a while. Okay.
Okay. Right on.
All right. What? Yeah. So there you go on the Dinger contra. Really need to change his name to Tater. I mean, I'm just saying, Dinger's not dinosaur. So what the fuck's the difference?
I mean, it's a triceratops. So Tater the triceratops. I mean, it kind
Yeah.
of.
See, a little alliteration there. It's perfect.
Yeah. Well, I
Dinger,
mean, let's see what we've got. Try to think of what we got going on in like actual news.
well, we were talking about Lamar Jackson's gotten COVID twice now. That's pretty impressive.
So I mean, like, when did he? So is he like? When has he gotten positive tests back? Like, has it been a few months?
During the season last year, I think was. Am I right about that? Let me look it up really quick. I think it was during the season last year.
Okay.
Because who's his backup? He had to start a game or two, if I remember. I don't know, man. My memory's so shot, but let's see.
Yeah, so he first tested positive in late November 2020.
Right.
And he's non-committal to the vaccine as he tests positive.
Well, like we said earlier, I'm pretty sure he probably doesn't need it at this point. That's twice now.
Well, you have the Vikings who are just falling to pieces about this. Kirk Cousins saying he's more than happy to put up a plexiglass box around his locker rather than get a vaccine. People are weird. People have weird. They feel weird.
There's Mike. Shit on my way.
The old shit. All right.
Well, yeah, I look. I've been through this a million times, so I'm not going to drag everybody through.
Yeah,
it again,
it's just the same thing over and over.
But really, you know what? If everybody else is vaccinated, who gives a fuck what happens to Kirk Cousins? I mean, I hate to be so blunt about it, but who cares? You know, fuck him. Let him do what he wants.
It's about percentages, and I think that essentially the NFL, each team is trying to get to, I think, like 85 or 90%.
Yeah,
which is essentially what you want as a population.
Right.
Same thing, but at a smaller scale. And when you have, it'd be one thing if it was like, coming from your nickel cornerback or something. Or like a backup linebacker. It's another thing when it's like your franchise quarterback. Essentially, you want them to kind of lead by example, and his example is to say, "Fuck that! I'm not doing that shit." It's one of those things where I moderately and very fragilely respect his decision, but I also wish he would use his position to advocate.
Right.
Like, I personally don't want to get it, but I encourage my teammates to do it if they feel comfortable with it. Say the right thing.
That's my whole thing with this entire bit is that I get that there were going to be people that didn't want it. I understand that. I respect that. It's a perfectly valid position to take. But just say, like you just said, go look. My personal decision is I've decided not to, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't.
Yeah.
And it's just that simple. And these people are like, oh no, look at Israel. It's like, fuck off. Show me some data or shut the fuck up. And nobody's showing any data. It's like, well, see, it's not working anywhere.
Yeah,
well, it must be working somewhere. I don't know. It drives me nuts. But yeah, fuck Kirk Cousins anyway. Zach and I've got a long history with that guy, so he's not on my good side anyway.
Now he's a douche canoe for sure. So how about that Anthony Rizzo? So Rizzo he just got a positive COVID test, and he's one of those guys who we discussed a few weeks back is another one of those polite non-vaxxers who's basically like, I'm not going to get it and I don't want to discuss it. And that's my feelings. And it's kind of like that kind of lukewarm, meaningless thing. And of course you get COVID. And it's not to say like, in some cases, especially for these athletes who, take very good care of themselves, when they get COVID, they get ill and they don't feel good. And then after a while they feel better. It's not a huge thing.
Yeah.
It's more of a spreading problem and there's not many of these guys who are very old and immunocompromised. But it's just it's again, an example. These are guys, there's very few people who who become mainstays in these leagues. And I think that it's such a missed opportunity for players who are advocates and major representatives of their teams who essentially, don't know. I don't know if they just have shitty publicists or if they're just kind of going off the cuff to where they're, not saying the right things. And if you are a staunch individual who's not going to get vaccinated, it's okay to do that. It's okay to say that. And you don't even need to provide any reasons for why you're not doing it. Just simply say, that's my decision. I'm going, if my teammates and fans, if they are concerned, I encourage them to get the vaccine. I personally am not. Just leave it as an individual thing.
Right.
Instead, it becomes this like, it's personal. I don't want to talk about it. And it's like, what could be less personal? It's just, it's I don't know. The language irritates me more than the not getting the vaccine.
But I would rather, though, just if you're going to not get it and you're going to say you're not getting it, just I would rather it be, it's just personal and leave it at that than start with the crazy nonsense.
Yeah. Don't
with the, the efficacy, and you don't know any of that shit. Come on.
Yeah. Don't pollute. Don't the waters are already muddy.
Oh, yeah.
We don't need,
at least. We
don't need the input from sports and athletes who have a quote unquote college education, which I'm curious about here with, I wish Zach was here. We'll have to save it for next week. Zach sent us a thing, and actually I'm going to look up a little bit about it now just so I'm not completely ignorant of what it was. But
the Florida guy with the Panthers?
Yeah.
That was, I don't get that at all. I mean, Mike made a good point. I wish he'll be here in a second, but I don't.
Let's see.
Yeah, just explain it, because I'm kind of stumped on this one. I don't really understand it.
The first sentence is, the Florida Panthers have signed a quarterback. So it's an endorsement deal where De'Aaron King he's a college player. I don't know where he goes to college at. But anyway, he will appear at Panthers games, some events, and be kind of a social media advocate and stuff like that. So it's kind of like this open-ended, fluid type thing where basically they're going to pay him to use some of his football clout to, spread some good word. There's Mike.
Sorry, gentlemen. I wish I had a better excuse, but I took a nap that got out of hand.
Yeah, man, you got that one right. I said you were in traffic. Andy called it. He said nap.
No. If I had been stuck in traffic, I would have let you guys know ahead of time. Like, hey, gonna be late. But no, nap got out of hand.
Those happen.
There's been many times where I'll go home for lunch. I'll eat like my sandwich and lay down, and then I wake up and it's like been 2 hours since. Oh fuck!
Yeah.
I'll back to work. But that happens. Naps will get the best of you sometimes.
Oh yeah. I take it Zach isn't here.
No, he's busy with high school football.
Gotcha. All right. It's all good. So what are we talking about?
Well, the Panthers signing a quarterback today.
Oh yeah. I mean, the joke, of course, is that only the Florida Panthers would sign a football player, right?
Well, it's one of those deals where on the surface it reads really weird, but I think that as he actually starts doing whatever he signed to do with them, it'll make more sense. Like, oh, he's just like promoting. It's almost like I'm working for because I guess he goes to the University of Miami in Florida. Mm-hmm. And I guess, that's got a much larger audience and a much larger inroads to potential Florida Panthers fans. So instead of doing a deal with the, Miami Hurricanes, you do a deal with this kid and he's quarterback. And so essentially he can go and be like, if he's interviewed anywhere or something, he can tweet out stuff like, "Hey, in my Panthers jersey, getting ready to go play LSU or something." So I mean,
anybody bother to ask him if he's a hockey fan?
That's irrelevant. That's
Look, it could be, money's being exchanged. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but he could end up looking like a real idiot too. I mean, like if you made like me an ambassador for a hockey team, I'd be okay at it, but I wouldn't be very good at it. Be like, what do you think about this? I'm like, like this trade or whatever. I'd be like, fuck, I don't know. He sounds Russian. He's probably good on offense, not great on defense. I fucking have no idea.
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit. We talked about the false positive of the racial slur.
Did they finally figure out if it was
yes.
Was it an N-word? Was it
no? It was a man calling for Dinger, the dinosaur mascot of the Rockies.
Well, okay. Well, it's time that we change the mascot name then.
We talked about the possibilities. Greg suggested Dino and Tater. So
I don't know. I like Tater.
I suggested Horny because it's a Triceratops and its horns.
Andy also had a couple other ideas, like what was it, Mustard Funker?
Mustard Funker, the prankster hot dog, which certainly fans would love to yell that.
But yeah, because I said that this is not the last time this is going to happen with Dinger. If anything, now it's going to happen even more. Unfortunately, hey, no, you know what's going to happen. This is going to be the really sad byproduct of all this. Is some fucking idiot is going to actually do what we thought was being done yesterday, and then claim, no, I was just calling for the mascot. That's what's going to happen.
Well, it's time to keep the stupid dinosaur, out of the stands until we can think of a new name.
Wait, why is he a dinosaur anyway? What's that got to do with mountains? I mean, I guess you could find him buried there or something. That's what I would say. Like, what else would you even do for the Rockies? Like,
yeah, that's an interesting take. I mean, a hot dog is a hot dog at every game, let me see. So he hatched from an egg, I guess. So I don't know.
I love mascot backstories, by the way. Like
it was 1994, so that's like peak dinosaur.
Oh yeah, that's like
Jurassic Park.
That's yeah.
Oh, here we go. Dennis says they found fossils while building the stadium. Okay, that makes a little more sense.
Well, that's kind of like how it worked with the Nashville Predators, right? They had a saber-tooth tiger skeleton or something.
Yeah, which is a blessing in disguise, or we could have gotten the hockey tonks.
I'd be all over the honky tonks. I'm sorry, but I would. I'd love
hockey
that
tonks, Greg. Hockey tonks.
Shit, that might even be better. I don't know. No, I mean, hockey tonks says honky tonks. I'm with hockey. See, I can't even fucking say it. Hockey tonks, no. Honky tonks, yes.
I mean, we would just call them the honkies, and it would just end badly, like there's no.
Oh man, yeah. Could you imagine a team with that name today with all the shit going on? Like
let's go honkies.
That's Jesus Christ.
You're gonna pick up the entire Klan fan base if you do that. So there's that, I suppose. I don't know.
Well, that's it. Hockey's too Canadian a game for the Klan to endorse. I think that's
true. Right.
They'd be much better. If anything, they were disappointed to find that the racial slur shouted was not a racial slur.
I don't know why they didn't just go with hillbillies. I would have been fine with it. I am a hillbilly. Fuck it. I would have been like, yeah, that's a good name.
Well, that was the whole thing, though, right? That they found the saber-tooth tiger skeleton while building the Predators arena, and so they decided to name the team after it.
I mean, Predators, there's downsides with that too. I mean,
there is, yeah.
I mean, especially, sexual predators. I mean, because the word predator is associated generally with two things. One is the 1986 movie, I want to say, that year with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Jesse the Body Ventura.
Yeah, I don't got time to bleed. That great lines from that fucking movie. Great lines. And with To Catch a Predator. There's
Yeah.
generally, those are the two things that are associated with the word predator.
I'm kind of curious, well, like, I guess they couldn't call them the Sabertooths because you had the Buffalo Sabres, so you couldn't do that.
Yeah.
Couldn't really go with tigers.
I guess you could do tigers. Like, there aren't any other tigers in the NHL.
No, but there's 15 Tigers teams with that. Well, there's the Memphis Tigers, which are not in Nashville, but still in Tennessee.
Yeah, that might have been a problem, actually.
LSU, who are the Auburn?
Missouri.
You couldn't call him. You couldn't call him like Smilodon. Like what's
Yeah, you couldn't get like the nerd name for Sabertooth Tigers that nobody cares about, like
Tiger Cats, but that's already taken.
Yeah, Tiger Cat. Yeah, then you're getting sued by Hamilton.
Wow, I'm trying to think of like a good name for them, and you can't really come up with anything that either isn't overused or kind of silly, like the hockey tonks. Yeah, that's fucking stupid. You're right, Mike. That was a horrible idea.
Hockey tonks, Jesus, that would have been.
Call them the Opries or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess you could go that route,
or just pick another Greek. Kind of Parthenoni, whatever. I don't know. That's
not my problem. And Biscuits was already taken at that point, right? From
no, I don't know. I think the Montgomery Biscuits came after.
Well, there's your name right there. Biscuits.
Nashville Biscuits.
Yeah, man, come on. Although Nashville's not really known for its biscuits that I know of. It could be. I'm not sure.
Ooh.
Well, no, it is right, because remember when the Predators lost their hockey beat writer, and so like the food critic, had to cover the Predators in Nashville, and he was like, "We're gonna show them our biscuits or something."
Show them our biscuits. I'd be totally down with
Predators, and I'm going to show you my biscuits. That sounds really good.
What about like the Nashville Hot Chickens? That's their thing now, right?
The Roosters. There you go.
No, they'd be called the Cocks. There's no.
Shit, you're right.
I mean, I guess the Cocks is already South Carolina, so.
Oh yeah,
they don't even try to hide it. They're just straight up we're the Cocks.
That fucking hat that was ubiquitous for a time.
Yeah.
Was it a hat or was it a shirt?
It was a hat.
Both. There was actually both.
Well, yeah. Well, it was like a specific like style that they made for all of the team, like all teams, but like the way that the template just happened to work for South Carolina, it just cocks emblazoned across it.
Well, it was a guy at a baseball game or something, right? You just had
the White Sox. He had like the Cox shirt, and he was simulating fellatio. Yes,
that was right. That was one of we were celebrating fans being back.
Yeah, it's like that was like one of the first games with fans back, and we're like, this is why
the pantomime blowjob occurring there.
That's precisely why we wanted fans back. That's exactly that kind of shit. What do we got here?
Was there something about God, Country, and Apple Pie in Nashville? Oh, right. Chaos Blast is right. So that was when they were upset about Blackhawks fans because, like, Blackhawks fans were not respecting their national anthem tradition or something.
Oh, well, because the Blackhawks fans, for those few years, the two teams were constantly matching up in the playoffs fairly frequently, and during the season as well, the Blackhawks fans traveled quite well down to Nashville, and it's like a 7-8 hour drive and whatever, and Blackhawks fans typically cheer the anthem.
Oh, that's right, and Nashville fans were like, "You gotta be quiet, show respect, Joe, and the anthem, commie."
And the other thing was that they did a promotion where I think it was for a playoff series where it's like Blackhawks fans, if you had a Chicago area or Illinois zip code,
they wouldn't sell you tickets. Yeah,
right, they denied money. They said, "We don't want your money because we want locals."
I've never understood that because lots of places cheer during the anthem. I mean, I've been to.
Well, yeah, no, like all of the Canadian teams to a T have fans who cheer, who not only cheer but sing along with the anthem.
Well, yeah, you get that here too. But the teams that do that aren't like idiot fan bases. Like, no offense, Nashville, but let's be honest, you're not like Montreal or Chicago or New York or Detroit or whatever when it comes to being hockey fans. The places that do it are like really smart fans. It's not like they're doing it out of disrespect. It's just they're just excited. I think. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but
I mean, the national anthem, the American anthem. Typically, people, they always start whistling and screaming and shit right around, after the land of the free, and people, woo, yeah, shit,
and line, man, and off they go, yeah.
And then the "O Canada," of course, the final "O Canada," like they everyone fucking belts it, Americans and Canadians alike. So I mean, it's not a-traditional to participate, in the different anthems, but I think that it was just a petty thing to get irritated about, especially for a franchise that was like, it's like, hey, you guys are successful. Maybe don't be stupid now that you've got some eyes on you as a franchise. Maybe, just let everyone who wants to come in and pay you. Dumbasses franchise. Anyway.
That's what I mean. The idiot fan bases. And I guess I kind of do mean that in a disparaging way, but I just don't understand. We've talked about it a million times, but didn't they do this the thing in Tampa? You're not allowed to wear a opposing team's jersey. Is that still a thing, Mike, down there?
The Lightning just repealed it.
Okay.
So you can wear opposing teams' jerseys again.
Yeah. I mean, I went to Pittsburgh. I wore a Rangers jersey. Nobody said a word. They didn't care. I just don't get it.
That's such amateur hour stuff, I mean, like if you look at like the Los Angeles Chargers, the only people that come to that stadium to watch that team are from other fans from other franchises.
Yeah,
and they don't have a rule because I mean they know that LA has not embraced the Chargers. They probably won't. I mean, if you had that rule at a Chargers game, nobody would show up. You'd have half the people there wearing like Rams jerseys.
I'm sure we've all seen it happen with our home teams. I mean, I get so sick. I haven't been to a Browns game in years, but man, you would go to a Browns game and like half the place would be in Steelers gear and just piss you right off. What are you going to do?
Yep.
You don't want to be that team where you go, sorry, we're not going to let you in. Fuck that. Grow up, I guess.
Well, I always said it was Bush League of the Lightning to, specifically to do that. Oh, we don't want, because
especially down there.
And the thing was, people would go like, oh, well, the Lightning, aren't like these older teams. They don't have as big a fan base. And it's like, well, you're not exactly, sending messages that you believe in your possibility for growth if you, refuse to, if you do this shit. So I don't know. Like, I think I agree with you guys. Like, it's a real Bush League kind of thing to say like, oh, we're not going to let certain fans into the arena because of their jerseys. Like, you're basically just broadcasting to the world, we're a small time market and we don't have enough fans to fill the arena.
Yeah, and especially the Tampa area where it's, I mean, God, how many transplants you figure live down there?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I know the place we stayed at where my mom's house used to be was still there. It's just, we don't own it anymore, but we called it Hockey Row. You went down this one street in the development there, and there was a Red Wings flag. And then there was a Maple Leafs flag, I think Canadiens, Blackhawks, and believe it or not, Columbus Blue Jackets, which I thought was pretty cool. There were like 5 houses right in a row. They all had hockey flags. Not one of them Tampa Bay Lightning.
Mm-hmm.
And they're, half hour away. So it's
it's a weird. It's mostly just. I feel like the best reaction is just a very big eye roll. Well, come on, man. That's how you want to run your business. All right. That's your call.
Mike's right though. It's very Bush League.
The worst case of opposing jerseys and home stadiums for me, this is from Chaos Blast, is the CFL when Saskatchewan plays in Calgary. Well, like the Rough Rider fan base travels incredibly well. They all get on their tractors, right? And they drive.
Takes them a while, but they get there.
Yeah, Calgary. Saskatchewan is known for having a very passionate and travel friendly fan base.
Did either of you guys watch? There's I guess the Hall of Fame game, and then there was the Hall of Fame speeches and stuff. The inductees for the NFL.
I forgot the name was on. I would have tuned in. I'm not going to lie. I would have absolutely watched it. I just forgot it was on. I didn't see it.
I don't know. For some reason, preseason NFL football was just utterly.
I mean, it sucks.
Yeah,
that's the main thing. So I mean, this year's Hall of Famers were Peyton Manning had a very funny talk, very funny speech. John Lynch, Calvin Johnson, Alan Faneca, Charles Woodson, Tom Flores, and Drew Pearson. So, yeah, so
I would agree with all of those.
I mean, there's not a lot of like if you look through some of these lists, like they're projecting next year's Hall of Fame class. Andre Johnson. It's so weird to me that Andre Johnson's retired. That's still odd to me. I mean, he was around. He played for 12, 13 years.
Yeah, but it kind of just feels like he stopped playing like yesterday. Like,
right.
Yeah.
I sent you guys this thing yesterday, but oh god, I can't think of his name all of a sudden here. The Lions receiver. Wow, senior moment.
Calvin Johnson?
Calvin Johnson. God almighty, I can't believe I couldn't remember that. Calvin Johnson was a rookie was it in 2004 he started college, and Tom Brady had won his third Super Bowl, and then he graduated college, played an entire NFL career, set out the 5 years required, went to the Hall of Fame. Tom Brady's still playing.
I mean, that's Tom Brady.
Crazy.
Yeah. Peyton Manning made a joke that Tom Brady he's going to be eligible for the class of 2035.
I'm not sure I'd bet on that right now.
The other people to look for next year: DeMarcus Ware, Reggie Wayne, Zach Thomas, linebacker for the Cowboys in most of his career. Richard Seymour and Tony Baselli are other ones that would probably be.
I think Baselli's a lock. I'm not so sure about the rest of them.
I mean, I've heard so many things about Tom Brady. I've heard that he wants to win 3 more Super Bowls to make it even 10. I've heard that he wants to play until he's 50, which would be like, I think 6 more years at this point. I've heard that he wants to, but then again, like I've also heard that he's only, wants to play for a few more years. So who the hell knows what's going to happen with Tom Brady? But
I wonder if his wife would be okay with him being put out to stud for a few years, like. Retire slightly early to spend, the better part of, just like a prize racehorse where clearly it's like, NFL owners would all get together and like build like an island, construct like a breeding island for him to just sire a few dozen, every year. He just has various mistresses to spew out offspring and, they go right into the NFL pipeline. Kind of like, what's the kid from the Raiders, the super quarterback kid?
Oh, Marinovich.
Yeah, but like that only successful, in robo QB kind of deal. Maybe something to think about, Tom.
Right.
Well, I think like the one thing that I would say is certain is years ago when he was still on the Patriots, they asked him like, when are you going to retire? And he said, when I suck. So like, legitimately, I think like the only true answer is like he's going to keep playing until he falls off that cliff that, we saw Brett Favre fall off of, we saw Peyton Manning fall off of, where like it's clear, as you're watching it, it's like, oh man, like they just can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
And it's like, people thought he was going to Tampa to just ride off to the sunset, and then they won like the fucking Super Bowl. So
I can't believe that. But yeah,
well, that kind of started in the game they lost against the Bears, where he forgot what down it was, and people are like, "Oh, there it is. Here comes the decline." And then after he wins the Super Bowl, he's like, "Yeah, the first thing I thought of was that Bears game. I was so pissed off after that game that I willed the team to the Super Bowl."
Yeah,
like, oh, great. Fuck.
You know what with him though too?
It's like when he willed the Patriots to a Super Bowl because he heard Greg say that they were done, like he was done. So
I haven't said that in like 4 years, and he's still out there proving me wrong. He's like, I'll show that bastard 10 more years of me now. But,
I legitimately, again, I think Tom Brady won another Super Bowl. What do you have to say? Just looks at the camera. Fuck you, Greg.
Yeah, you know what? I deserve it. I'm going to be honest.
And you're right, Chaos Blast. Zach Thomas, yeah.
Dolphin, right. What was I going to say? With Brady, though, I like Manning. I don't even know if this makes any sense, but Brady seems to be built like a guy who could play until he's 50. He's not a big muscleton. He's like a guy that's kind of, he's limber, and I don't know if that even makes sense.
And the TB12 diet means that he doesn't eat any sugar, so he's staying. He gets his 2 almonds a week and for sustenance, and
I just think he looks like a guy that he just got the right kind of like physical attributes, where he could actually maybe pull it off. I don't know that, man. I mean, how old is he now? At 42, 41, 42? Something like that, and he's still looking pretty solid.
He's 44 years old.
Oh, fuck me, really?
He just turned 44 a few days ago. Yeah.
Shit, you know what? He's only got 6 years to go. I think he might actually be able to pull this off.
If there's anybody that could do it, it'd be him.
Yeah, I mean, I hate giving the guy credit. Everybody knows it, but I'm not going to say anything more because he'll fucking win the Super Bowl again this year, and I don't want to see that.
Yeah.
Of course, I probably just jinx it by saying I don't want to see it. But it was amazing what he did last year. And who did they beat to get there? Well, the NFC wasn't that great, so maybe it wasn't as impressive as I think it was.
They beat the Packers.
Oh, fuck, that's right, they did, didn't
Remember, because he threw a Hail Mary touchdown to close off the first half of the game, and you were like, fuck it, it's over. Like,
wow. I don't know. Maybe you just, it's Tom Brady. Maybe you want to play a little bit of defense no matter what. No, screw it, man. Just let him go.
It's like just put one guy on a short white wide receiver that he's got out like long, because he never makes throws to those guys.
No, of course not. No. These guys had careers based on the fact that Tom Brady likes to throw to short.
Yeah, there's like a whole generation of short white lacrosse players who have had NFL careers.
Because of him. For Bet, he just came along a little too late, or a little too early. He was 5 years later. He's a Hall of Famer, probably.
Yeah, they beat the Washington football team, the wild card. They beat the New Orleans Saints, the last go of Drew Brees,
right,
in the divisional. Then the Packers, and then the Chiefs.
All right. Well, other than the soccer workforce, that's not exactly an easy path. Yeah. All right.
Speaking of which, I wanted this is kind of a good segue into what I talked about earlier. So the fellow kids, I'm going to shelve until my internet connection is worth a shit, or I can figure out just exactly why screen sharing is so bad when we're doing this. But instead, I had this thing called the Big Four 3-way or threesome or something like that. And essentially, I have, and this works out in a way because Zach's out tonight. There's the Big Four: the NFL, the NBA, the NHL, the MLB, and I am going to ask you guys some just kind of trivia questions here, and see how you do. Now, because normally how we would do this is that 3 of you each get one league, and you get to pick, of the 3. So because Zach's out, I'm going to ask you each 2.
All right.
So who would like the NFL?
I'll take the NFL because Mike's going to take the NHL and
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. All right. This is the NFL question for this week. Madden 2005 had 499 overall players in the game. How many of them can you name? Ideally, just one, but there are 4. They are names. They're not just nobodies. But Madden 2005.
2005. So that would have been coming up to 2004 season.
Correct.
I'm going to go Peyton Manning.
No.
There
was not a quarterback that's in this list.
Calvin Johnson?
No.
He'd be too young at that point. Randy Moss?
No.
Damn, I have no idea.
Mike, you want to take a stab at it?
The Daniel Tomlinson?
No.
Oh, all right.
It's a linebacker, an offensive tackle, a cornerback, and a kicker. Ray Lewis, he was the cover athlete for that year.
Right. Okay. So
Adam Vinatieri is the kicker, right?
No, Mike Vanderyacht of the Colts.
Oh, the idiot drunk kicker. Peyton Manning called him.
Any guesses on the cornerback or the tackle, the offensive tackle?
I'm gonna go cornerback. Was Charles Woodson playing then?
Champ Bailey
was the fourth.
Mike.
And this is Jonathan Ogden was the tackle, 99 overall. So
Yeah, I can go along with that. The guy was a player.
okay, Mike, you have the other 3 leagues to choose from. Pick one.
Take the National Hockey League.
Okay. And you may get this right away. I was kind of surprised by it. Name, if you can, one of the 2 Ottawa Senators that are enshrined in the Hockey Hall of Fame.
Are we talking present Senators or original old-timey Senators?
So the players we're talking about here played, like one of them played for the Senators in the 2005-2006 season. The other one played for the Senators from 1997 into the 2000s.
Okay, Daniel Alfredson?
No.
Okay.
A goalie and a forward.
Okay, goal. Senators goalies. Dominic Hasek.
Correct. That's one of them.
Okay.
I guess the other one.
A forward.
Alexei Yashin.
Surefire Hall of Fame, like
Dan Heatley?
Fuck no. Fuck no.
No.
He
did say he was a fucking all-star. He called himself a fucking all-star. So,
Alexander Daig. What about that guy? Was it him?
No.
Okay, so it's not Alfredson, it's not Yashin. Not obviously not fucking Heatley.
87 on?
97 to 2004. But he
Fuck.
played for another probably 8, 9, 10 years after that, maybe.
Those were the years the Leafs were eliminating them every year in the playoffs, so I should know this.
Yeah, you know this player. This is not a this is no doubt Hall of Famer name.
All right, Senators from the
early
2000s.
Yeah, he had a run of bad luck before joining another franchise and winning several cups.
Okay.
Wait.
You got an idea, Greg?
I'm thinking Blackhawks is because I'm thinking like to win multiple cups. If you did it with the same team,
or it could be the Kings or the Penguins.
Yeah, right.
Hossa, Marian Hossa.
Yes, Marian Hossa.
Marian Hossa.
Well done.
Well done, Mike.
Penguins. As soon as I said Penguins.
All right, Greg.
I was skipping past Pittsburgh and LA in there, with the Blackhawks thing. So, okay, go ahead.
Greg, do you want the NBA or Major League Baseball?
I'm gonna take the NBA, believe it or not.
Okay. All right. The 2011 Dallas Mavericks had to go through arguably the most difficult playoff grind of any title-winning team. They beat the Heatles in the finals, but had to beat which 3 Western Conference teams along the way? These were not easy wins by any means. That's why he's kind of heralded.
I think if I remember right, they were like a 2 or a 3 seed, right?
The Mavericks?
Yeah.
It sounds correct.
So what year was it? 2011?
Yes.
That was before LeBron won a title, and because I remember that was the first the first title, that was the first championship run of the Heat super team, and everyone laughed at them that they lost to Jason Kidd and the fucking Mavericks.
Were the Lakers one of the teams?
Yes, Kobe's Lakers were one of the teams.
All right, I'm going to go with 2011. Shit. Were the Bulls good back then? No,
the Bulls are in the East.
I always get that mixed up. I'm going to go with the Trailblazers.
Yep, that was the other one. There's one more.
And I don't remember.
This other team it's one of those things where if you look at it now, you look at the roster on paper now, it's like, how the fuck did this team not win at least one title? But all the players split up off this team and kind of went their own ways and to various successes.
Memphis.
No. Younger franchise, probably. I mean, they're younger than
City.
Oklahoma City Thunder. Yes.
Yeah, because how did that team not win a championship? You're right.
Harden, Durant, Westbrook. I mean, there was that team.
Some solid secondary players on that team too, if I remember right.
Yeah,
they were good. I don't know what happened with them.
Well, Kevin Durant realized that he could just sign with whoever won the last year's championship and just keep doing that until he won rings.
Yeah, he signed with the Canadian women's hockey team, I heard.
Well, that was the joke after France beat the U.S. in the Olympics in basketball. Like Kevin Durant's applied for French citizenship.
So winning the gold, right?
Yeah, U.S. ended up winning the gold. So the U.S. managed to salvage basketball dignity.
Okay. All right. So we got what's left? Baseball.
Okay, so I've got baseball.
Yeah, Major League Baseball. Final question. This goes to Mike.
Okay.
Name and ideally describe the mascots for the Arizona Diamondbacks, the Minnesota Twins, and the Tampa Bay Rays.
Okay, so I know the Rays because I live here. It's Raymond, and he's just like this blue, fuzzy, anthropomorphic thing.
He's like a sea dog.
Yeah.
Can you name their secondary mascot?
I don't know. Is it the Ray? Is it the actual man? Like, is it the actual stingrays they have in that sad little aquarium in the outfield?
It's a legit. It's a mascot with a costume and everything like that.
Okay, I don't know. No, I know. I only know Raymond.
How could you not know DJ Kitty?
What?
What?
Yeah, DJ Kitty. I'll pull it up for you here.
Okay, I have actually been to a decent number of Rays games because the tickets are cheap and it's an easy way to see the Jays. I have never seen DJ Kitty, or if I have, it's completely blown my mind.
Speaking of that, Mike, while we've got a second here, did you go to Dunedin to see the Jays while they were playing there at all?
I was going to, but unfortunately, I did not. So.
Okay, I was just curious. It would have been better if they played in Clearwater. It's a much nicer park, but not bad. But yeah, that would have been cool. I think I would have tried to go too if I'd been there.
Yeah, no, I had plans to, but never.
So here's DJ Kitty.
Yeah, I've never seen that before in my life.
Yeah, no, I have never. That has completely. Wow. Yeah, no, I've never seen that thing.
Yeah.
So I guess
is that really?
Oh, wait a minute. Okay, that's hilarious.
Because it's actually DJ Kitty is apparently like it was. They have a visual DJ and he's a mascot now. Apparently, one of them.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Right, well.
Okay, the picture of the actual cat wearing the jersey is hilarious.
So you still owe me the Arizona Diamondbacks and the Minnesota Twins.
Okay, so the Diamondbacks, I know it's his name is D Baxter.
Yes, yeah. What is it?
And you'd think it would be a snake, but what can you do with a snake with a mascot? So it's like a cat, right? Or like a lynx or something. Yeah.
D Baxter, the Bobcat.
Bobcat. Okay. Yeah.
Wow. I am absolutely impressed. Well done, Mike.
I have a soft spot for the Diamondbacks because, I've kind of always followed them since they beat the Yankees back in, 2001?
2001, yeah. Same year.
Because I really hated the Yankees back then, and the Diamondbacks had that great Game 7 walk-off hit to win it. So in the ninth, so so I've always had a soft spot for the Diamondbacks. So I do know D Baxter.
There's D Baxter. Yep. So last one, Minnesota Twins.
Wow. If you put a gun, I would have no idea.
You know what? If it was, if this team had any fucking balls, they just legitimately get two twins and just give them jerseys and just like, yeah. No, I don't know what the Twins mascot is.
It is TC Bear. It's just a bear. That's it.
Okay.
It's like that's. I was looking through the list of mascots and I was like who the fuck would have ever known?
Mike's right. I mean, how hard would it be to get twin something or others and call one Minnie and the other one Paul?
Yeah,
done deal. That's simple.
So check this out. So this is great. This is why I love this stuff. So here's TC Bear. It's a really shitty picture of him. He's just a bear, but that's not the best part.
I gotta love it. I'm sorry.
I mean, it's great. But so check this out. So this is Twinkie the Loon, their old mascot.
Whoa! So they had a good mascot they got rid of? What? No.
It's Twinkie the Loon, goofy-eyed, just fucking guy in a bird suit. Yeah. Twinkie the Loon there for you.
I think there's room for both, honestly. And there you go, your twin mascots. Twinkie
Okay,
the Loon
so
and TC Bear.
TC Bear. I mean, it's just a bear.
Yeah. Well, it was based off of some advertising that was the team was like co-sponsored by way back in the day.
But like, it doesn't even look like it looks like just someone went and got a generic bear costume, and then someone put like a Twins cat hat on it. Like,
yeah. I mean, it's safe. It's safe. You know,
I mean, who should I talk? The Maple Leafs mascot is Carlton, who's just a polar bear. So whatever. I guess it works.
Yeah, polar bears are cool. I mean, I wonder if bears aren't, but
the Twins. I wonder if the Twins have ever considered there's a board meeting somewhere where they were like, should we get like a pair of conjoined twins? Like some like combined at the shoulder. I mean, it would be pretty frightening for kids, but I mean that's
hilarious.
But yeah, I mean, it'd promote, inclusivity and it'd have some positive vibes, but it would probably also be it was frowned upon by the general, I don't know. I feel like some kind of abuse, but yeah, like you said, Mike, if it doesn't even need to be real twins. Just find two people that look alike. You could change it up a few times a season.
But I still I'm dropping this link in the private chat. The terrifying Edmonton Oilers mascot that looks like it's going to eat that child.
Good God, yeah, that's a little aggressive.
I don't know why. It's because it's usually when you do an animal mascot, it's like you give them big googly eyes to make them look cartoony and friendly, and they're like, no, let's give it angular, angry predator eyes, and
it's like an apex predator, man.
Yeah.
So I guess it's I don't know what its name is. Hunter, yeah.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not bad. It looks kind of collegiate more than anything, but
you guys are too young to remember the San Francisco Crab, I'm sure.
Wasn't it the chicken?
No, it was the San Francisco Crab. It was a mascot that was designed specifically to be hated.
It's okay.
Look him up, Andy.
Oh my God, this is awesome! This is great. Yeah, let me get a good picture here.
I loved this thing, and it didn't quite work out the way they wanted it to, but man, oh man, was it a classic! It was like he'd come out and they'd have people yell at him and stuff. It was just the great.
What? So the whole thing was they wanted people to abuse this thing?
Yeah, they wanted. It was like he was like a joke. Here he is. This is great.
He looks like a pancake. It looks like a pancake with sores all over his legs.
What is going on with wow.
I like that there's you can see there's a little hole there
for the
yeah, but there's a hole already torn in it, so somebody threw a full beer at it or something.
Yeah, he would come on and people would boo him, and he was supposed
to get the fuck off the field,
like the anti-mascot thing. And I don't know, it kind of backfired because people were like, I kind of dig this thing, and I don't think that's what they wanted out of it. I mean, I know I loved it. I thought it was the greatest thing ever.
So
San Diego had the chicken.
Yeah, so there's some more of these. So this is Berserker, the old Warriors mascot.
What's it supposed to be?
I don't know.
It looks like I mean, I can't see it because we don't have it enlarged. But it looks like he's got a Hannibal Lecter mask on or something there. What the hell is that?
Didn't the
I can't really tell.
Didn't the Suns have a gorilla at one point?
Oh yeah, he was great. The Suns gorilla.
Yeah,
he would dunk off of trampolines and stuff. I think they still have him, don't they?
As far as I don't know why they wouldn't.
I mean, it seemed fun and everyone liked it. Which
I remember this was back in the 80s, maybe late 80s, early 90s, and I saw a story about the gorilla. And this is, it doesn't sound like a lot of money now, but back then it was. That dude was making $48,000 a year to do that shit.
Oh yeah, they're still making the gorilla's still a thing.
Yeah, I mean but back in 85 or 86 or whatever it was, he was like $48,000. I'm like, God, that's pulling out some serious cash for this job. Yeah, the gorilla was cool. He is cool. The Suns have another mascot too, though, don't they? Like a more, I don't know, less kid friendly one or more kid friendly. Not that the gorilla isn't, but
I got my stories mixed up here, I guess, because we all recall this moment here when the the poor mascot of the Denver Nuggets passed out and was slowly lowered.
The limply hanging arms is just. Oh no!
Look at the cheerleaders dancing. Everybody's dancing. Yeah.
Oh
no! Look away, kids. Look away. Close your eyes.
What you say, the kids?
But I thought there was a similar thing with the gorilla mascot where he like passed out or got set on fire.
No, Wild Wing, the Mighty Ducks mascot, was set on fire.
Okay,
He tried to jump. He tried to jump through like a ring of fire and ended up landing on it.
Right. No, I remember that, but I thought there was a weird thing that happened with the gorilla doing the dunk or something, and he got hurt or he did something weird, or I can't remember. Maybe it was something. Maybe there was a
Mariner Moose was one. This was years ago. Was being pulled behind a 4-wheeler in Seattle at the old Kingdom, and his feet got. He was on rollerblades. His feet got tangled up and like broke his ankle in like 5 places. Maybe.
Here's the video. Yeah. Here's the video for Wild Wing.
Sure. Let me pull that up here. Can never go. I mean, who doesn't love reliving mascot horrors here?
Yeah. Well, it's because they're hilarious. I mean, what the fuck?
And if you want a great still image, here's a still image of it.
Well, here we go.
No, here it comes. It's a shame Zach isn't here to enjoy this with us. Oh God. So that is like the equivalent of the who came through the wall.
Oh, the Shockmaster in WCW. Yeah.
Oh, speaking of that, unless you guys want to do more mascots, since Zach's not here, this is a great time to talk about this. The Bray Wyatt thing. I saw it last week, and I wanted to bring it up.
Oh yeah, so he's not the only. WWE's been cutting like everyone.
Really?
Yeah, super weird. So they've released. God, I mean, what 100?
Well, have you heard about what's happening with NXT?
Yeah, I got to address this. Yes, Wild Wing on Fire was an original GOT.
Yes,
entry. Good call.
Yes.
I think that made it pretty far, but yeah. So the NXT.
Yeah, he was my finalist in that one. So
beautiful.
Yeah. But no. So what happened? Okay. So what happened with Bray Wyatt? Is really weird. Basically, they. From what I understand, I don't know, Brody Lee. Does that name ring a bell, Greg?
For me, it does. For Greg,
no, but I was just the reason I brought up Bray Wyatt is because I think Andy tweeted this that he was a character that they never really figured out how to use, and
they never did.
I thought that was kind of unfortunate, and correct me if I'm wrong about this because I'm not anywhere near as knowledgeable as this as you guys are. But I thought, and not like in the same vein, but not the same character. But I thought that Bray Wyatt, what I'd seen of him, had the potential to be like an Undertaker type character, not like the Dead Man or whatever, but the same kind of. Does that make sense? Like iconic character, and they just never seem to be able to pull it off with him.
He was kind of like he was like a hybrid of the Undertaker, Jake the Snake Roberts, and like I'm trying to think else, like Kamala, maybe. Like he's a strange, but he's a very good. The thing is, what makes this unusual is that he's marketable. He moves a lot of merchandise.
Yeah, they fired a guy who sells a lot of T-shirts.
Right, and Mike was probably getting ready to allude to some people ponder if Bray Wyatt is like grieving over this. Brody Lee was a guy who ran with him for a very long time before he passed away very young. And Bray Wyatt's kind of out of wrestling for a few months, and he was slated to come back, I guess, later this month. But they released him, and among Braun Strowman, Ruby Riott, like a fair chunk of wrestlers. But
they released like 9 NXT guys. Yeah. So so basically, what's happened and what's going on with NXT. What's going on with WWE broadly is essentially that when that NXT was something that Vince didn't really pay much attention to. when it was doing its thing. But then what happened was they put it on USA Network specifically to try to counter-program AEW.
Yes.
And then AEW ended up winning that war. AEW, NXT was chased out of the time slot.
Right.
And so AEW ended up winning the ratings for it was not even close. AEW won 90% of the weeks they went head to head. And as a result, essentially, and this is all according to all the insiders, so it might be bullshit, but it does seem to track, is that basically NXT, which has been under the tutelage of Triple H, Paul Levesque, has been signing, small indie style wrestlers, short guys who can do very technically sound stuff, but who are not Vince McMahon's ideals for like who would be a big star. And when NXT failed to beat AEW in the ratings, like Vince McMahon is going basically full scorched earth and basically being like, this vision of NXT sucks. Nobody here has what it takes to be a star. We're going back to like what NXT was in 2012, you know, big guys who can main event WrestleMania that we're going to develop, and everyone's fired. So
it's pretty dramatic. Like there's a lot of in wrestling is just one of those things to where, you know, I have not sat down to watch a full wrestling television program or pay-per-view. I just absorb kind of casually through YouTube, Reddit, and Twitter. But the thing is though, like wrestling is no longer, and it has not been for a long time, one of those things you follow as a fan from the perspective of not knowing what's going to happen. You know, like very few people, I would say at least 50% of the regular dedicated wrestling audience for any promotion are fans who are plugged in to all the backstage stuff, to all the Carney news. They know all the booking, all the backstage people, the creative. They follow the terminations and the beats to know what's going on. So essentially, this kind of artificially raises the stakes, but it also kind of waters down the product to where you need. I mean, you're not going to be surprised, and you're not going to be probably satisfied because you already know what's coming down the pipe. And that has been something that that WWE has not necessarily known how to deal with ever. For at least like 10 years now, they're still trying to figure out how to, you know, do some surprises and keep the fans intrigued, but they're also trying to market the shit out of it to like the Marvel, you know, Iron Man audience and get that money. But yet, you know, they do all this stuff on the back end that a lot of their fans hear about. And a lot of their wrestlers are on social media. They're on Instagram. So when you fire a shitload of their friends or in their peers, it looks bad. And especially when you have a promotion like AEW, who is, I would say they're thriving. They're right there to kind of pick up some of the pieces of the cast-offs like Aleister Black. And, you know, by all counts, people are saying Daniel Bryan and CM Punk are going to be going to AEW. So it's very weird. But also, I wouldn't be. It's one of the things to where there's like millions and millions of people who just do not give a fuck, and all they know and all they read is that, oh, John Cena came back again. Okay, I know John Cena. Okay, and that's fine. You know, that's fine.
Bryan's not with WWE anymore. I mean, that's
no Daniel Bryan and
but to me, I mean, I remember he was like the big thing for a little while there.
Daniel Bryan, apparently his so with Daniel Bryan, what happened was his contract came up, and he wants to work with New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Yeah.
And AEW has a working relationship with New Japan, so he went to AEW so he could do that.
Well, wasn't he kind of like, and again, I could be wrong about this, but wasn't he kind of like a fan favorite for a while there, Daniel Bryan?
He's huge.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
he was kind of a light version of, if you think of Bret Hart, what Bret Hart was in the mid early 90s. That was sort of what Bryan was now, but the thing is, Bret Hart was embraced. Daniel Bryan was sort of reluctantly given the spotlight for a little while.
And meanwhile, AEW has sold out the United Center on the mere possibility that CM Punk might show up. So.
Which is fucking amazing. He's been retired, semi-retired he's been retired from wrestling in the ring for 7 years now, something like that. I mean, it's been a while. But I mean, that just shows he's got a giant pull, and wrestling has a weird way of doing this to where people are. And I will say, we've talked about at length sports being weird and sometimes bad without fans. Wrestling should not exist without fans being present.
Oh, no, not even close. I agree completely.
It's a totally different animal, and it's been kind of fascinating to see WWE shift gears to where they had a big fan return show, and they're essentially making SummerSlam WrestleMania. Which is kind of bizarre because it's obviously 6 months or so difference in the date. And I'm interested, I'm intrigued, but it's also like with Delta and everything, they're kind of, it's kind of funny. They're casually they're saying we're going to mandate all fans must wear masks. And nobody's gonna give a fuck. I mean,
they're filling Allegiant Stadium.
Where is that?
That's the Raiders' new stadium in Vegas.
Oh, well, Vegas. Didn't they reinstitute or not Vegas, but Nevada?
Yeah, I know. That's why everyone has to wear a mask.
Oh, okay, well, that makes sense. No, I just we talked about the AEW thing. What, a year or so? I don't remember.
When it started up, in 2019.
So I'm assuming it's successful then because
it draws the highest non-NBA ratings on TNT. It's got they draw well, the pay-per-view sell. They chased NXT off the time slot, so
they've got some intriguing. I mean, there's definitely some older like Jericho and John Moxley, and there's some familiar news, but they know how to. They're navigating it as they go along for a lot of this stuff. Sting is there. He's kind of as a managerial role. Orange Cassidy is very interesting, depending on who you ask.
Orange Cassidy is either the greatest thing or the death of wrestling, depending on who you ask.
Yeah, I don't, Greg. I don't know how much do you know anything or heard of Orange Cassidy?
I can't say I have.
Okay.
My wrestling knowledge is very.
So Orange Cassidy is what happens if you take the popular perception of Jay Cutler and make it into a wrestling.
Oh,
he doesn't.
I like this guy. Then.
He doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, so his people say he's bad for wrestling because he's exposing the business and all this crap. But I'll show you a clip here that sums up kind of what he is. His big thing is putting his hands in his pockets and gently kicking the other man. I'll go ahead and I've got a clip up here for you with what happens here. So let me know when you've got that up here. So okay, this is he destroys a longtime ECW wrestler Tommy Dreamer. There's Orange Cassidy there with his hands in his pockets.
Oh, there he is. Okay, it's not playing. Are you not able to see it?
It's choppy. It's very choppy.
Basically, thanks. My internet is doing great. So basically, he gently kicks, just kind of taps their shins, and it's anyway. I strongly suggest looking up Orange Cassidy clips for those who are listening who don't know who he is. He's actually a really good wrestler, but his gimmick is to just kind of
not give a shit.
Yeah, no facial expression, nothing. But anyway, AEW
they got to go full Cutler and have the cigarette hanging out his mouth. I mean, come on, let's take this thing all the way.
No, not quite. I never mind. I was going to go on a tangent about Jay Cutler, but that's all right. I was kind of curious about. There was another guy who just came out saying he's going to be RG3. RG3 is going to be a broadcaster. He's going to be doing college football analysis for.
It'll be all right, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Does he have to, what was the test he had to pass before? Remember, we talked about this years ago.
The Wonderlick?
No. It was the Cornball brother test. Or
Oh,
something.
right. He wasn't black enough. Right.
Cornball brother. I can't remember who it was now.
Right. When
Jason
said that he wasn't
Whitlock,
black
which
enough.
you think that it would have been, but it wasn't Jason Whitlock. It was
Jesus.
what was
I
that
can't
guy's-
recall.
the fuck, it doesn't matter, but yeah, I think he'll be fine. I'm just surprised he's not. Well, what's it been now for him? Well, like 12 years, roughly, or 9, whatever, right?
It was Rob Parker. I don't know who even.
That's
Rob
it,
Parker
right,
is.
right. Rob Parker, yeah.
But anyway,
'Cause Andy did a promo with it, and that's why I always remember it. It was like the Cornball brother test or whatever. But yeah,
yeah.
But yeah, no, but wrestling's in a very interesting spot. Like AEW's also sold out Arthur Ashe Stadium of all places in New York, so it's an interesting situation. Wrestling is, and you know what? Wrestling's always kind of more intriguing when there's competition because it's spicy.
well, yeah. I mean, it's AEW. I mean, selling out. When we talked about them back a couple of years ago, we were just like, hey, if they can hang in there and make a decent alternative that if people will enjoy, they'll be okay. And
Yeah, no, I was actually at AEW's first show on the road since the pandemic started because when the pandemic started, they went because they're owned by the son of the guy who owns the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Okay.
And so they for the pandemic, they did all their shows at a Daly's Place, which is an amphitheater adjacent to the Jaguars stadium. And so they were doing those shows for like a year during the pandemic, and then they went on the road. Their first show was in Miami, and I went with a friend of mine. We saw the show. So
cool.
It was a pretty good time, and that was Aleister Black's debut.
Oh, cool.
AEW. So we got to see that. But yeah, they're hanging in there. They're surviving. WWE is doing really strong attendance numbers because of they got John Cena back for a little bit.
And there's just a general enthusiasm for fans being back in wrestling. People just want to be there.
Like probably more than any pro sport, wrestling needs fans to be.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah.
Like AEW started getting fun to watch again before they went on the road when they started letting like limited fans in to Daly's Place. And that was fun. And then WWE tried the Thunderdome concept, which was dumb.
Yeah, that was a bad idea.
They set up shop in like a warehouse or whatever, and they had the ring and they had an entrance, and they surrounded the ring with LCD screens that like
had people on them.
Yeah, they had like people Skyping in to watch the show. So it's like you were watching this wrestling show and the ring was surrounded by, faces on screens, which
I saw some of that.
Yeah, it's not a good look. It's not the same, like it's just, as we've discussed, you need bodies there,
especially wrestling. I mean, my goodness, because I remember back last year, WWE Network was running a special where you could get I think it was free for a while, the online network thing.
Well, now it's on Peacock.
Yeah, but this was back. It was back right when everything was starting to probably April or May of last year, maybe a little before that, where everybody was going, hey, for the time being, we're going to allow you to watch this stuff for free. It was like WWE did it, NFL Network did it. All these, they were just like, everything's free because people were locked in their houses and couldn't go anywhere and all that. But I thought I'll watch a little bit of the WrestleMania they tried without fans, and I was just like, this just sucks.
Yep.
Yeah,
Undertaker fought. I forget who it was.
AJ Styles in that one. Yeah,
it was like a TV show.
Yeah,
it was like a bad Western, and because I thought I love Taker, so I'll watch this, and I was like, this just isn't getting it for me. And then I saw, I think it was a little bit of Raw when there was nobody there. I thought, man, this is just not even right. It just doesn't feel right at all.
It feels like watching your neighbor's kids play and like they're playing, and they're just like playing Imagine or whatever, and it's just like, but it's adults. So I guess it's sort of like watching a LARP, like a live action like role play, like Wizards.
A lot of pro wrestling, a lot of pro wrestling, what they do either as faces or heels is designed to garner a fan reaction.
Right.
And so when you watch them do this, when they watch them do it without people to play to, it's just really kind of odd and off-putting.
Yeah, you know what it reminded me of was watching, like, you'll get like back when people still bought DVDs and they would get all the special features, and you would see like a scene that was shot and you could hear the dialogue, but there's no soundtrack music, no anything else. It's just kind of like, you're like, well, this is just weird.
Mm-hmm.
Just these people just talking to each other, and there's none of the elements that you add in the edit that make it dramatic or make it interesting. And that's WWE without fans is that.
I'd like to clarify that when I said watching your neighbor's kids, I'm not, I hate my neighbors. I don't look out my window at there's no kids I know of. I'm not a creep. But I'd also like to use this opportunity to say to both of my neighbors that they both suck and I don't like them. So it's just a shame. I wish they didn't suck, but they do.
We're pretty lucky in that regard. All of our neighbors are pretty cool, actually, except the people across the street. The wife still hates me to this day because
what'd you do?
Her cats. She lets her cats run loose in the neighborhood. Which, whatever, fine. You know what? You want to let your cat get hit by a fucking car? I mean, I don't like it, but nothing I can do about it. But their cats would come over into our yard, and my cat, I always call it going McBain because he like literally jumped through a fucking window, busted out the screen, chasing after one of their cats. And he got loose one night, and I'm like outside, and we had just moved in, and this happened. And she comes across the street to help me look for him, and she goes, "What happened? Well, how did he get out?" I'm like, "One of those fucking cats from across the street it's like, was loose, and that fucking idiots won't keep it. I mean, I just went off." She goes, "Those are my cats." I'm like, "Well, you know what?" And ever since, but but other than that, we got great neighbors.
I don't talk to my neighbors aside from the one guy who felt the need to ask me about dishes randomly at 7:30 at night. Dishes. Like he was he like, so basically what happened was he's like, "Hi, I've been away all summer, and the person who's been looking after my place said like months back that he got a package that was filled with dishes." And he's like, "And it's not mine. Is it yours?" And I'm like, "No, I never ordered any dishes." And he's like, "Are you sure?" And I'm like, "Pretty sure." And I was like, "So the box, was it addressed to you or me?" And he goes, "No, it was addressed to me." And I'm like, "Well, then I don't know why you're here." And,
what a wild coincidence that he got a box addressed to him that was meant for you.
Yeah.
Was right.
Yeah. But other than that, they don't they it's all right. The guy over there, he's got kids who just graduated grade 8. I know because he's got like a fucking sign out front advertising this fact. And usually I wouldn't mind, except you have like teenage girls who are happy that they've graduated over the summer, and it's very loud, and it's like, God, like, just please go away. We're like, and what am I gonna do? Like, I'm close to downtown, but I'm not gonna tell like a bunch of fucking like 15-year-olds to go to Ybor. So
yeah, probably not a great place for them.
So it's like, fine, I guess, like, do your dumb shit here and bother me. That's fine.
Andy, your neighbors are the ones that tried to like get you to scam an insurance company, right?
They tried to get us to commit insurance fraud on or getting our roof repaired after a bad hailstorm. And we had some awesome neighbors on the other side of us that we really liked and were really good friends with, and they just moved. And the people that moved in now, like a week ago, they're just weirdo kind of assholes. And they do this one thing that it shouldn't bother me, but it really does. They have 2 chairs in front of their garage, and for like 10 hours a day, they'll open the fucking garage door and they'll just sit there and they'll sit outside of their garage and just kind of people watch. And they're like middle-aged people. They're not like older folks who are just kind of enjoying the sunshine or whatever. It's just they just kind of sit there in their bare feet and just kind of just
Sounds
look
like
out.
Cousins Dale and Dennis moved in next door to you.
I mean, very, very may well could be. But they're just.
I was getting McPoyle vibes from Always Sunny when you were talking about that.
And it's very unsettling. I'm trying to keep an open mind and hope they turn out to not suck. But I'm reading currently this other thing that's really disappointing to me, and I'm trying to get the full story on it. But apparently, the next big thing is space advertising.
Oh, I saw that.
What?
Elon Musk, right?
Yeah. So there's numerous, I guess, companies and things. They're getting in on this thing called a CubeSat. That is, it has a selfie stick and a display screen that shows advertisements, logos, and other stuff. But yeah, so eventually there's going to be just fucking commercials
in the sky, like
the fucking sky.
Oh my god!
I mean, I don't think it's going to be one of those things right away that'll it'll be like you look up and you're stargazing or something. And it's like, oh, there's the fucking McDonald's logo just emblazoned. I think it's more of like there will be some sort of like live, like a 24-hour stream of a satellite, and you can pay. In cryptocurrency to have your so when people check out the satellite feed or whatever, they'll see your logo or whatever. With
I'm all right with that as long as it's not like I'm looking at I'm like, oh look, the moon's full tonight. Oh, and there's enjoy Coca-Cola right next.
I'm pretty sure there's a Dilbert cartoon about this.
Or worse, it's going to be like mypillow.com or some shit like
that. Fuck!
No thanks.
No, you know what he'd do? Like, he wouldn't just put his fucking logo. He'd be like, Trump won 2020.
Stop the steal. It's like a year late. It's like, this is out of date, man. Need to update your space advertisement.
Yeah, it's like all those fucking horrible like podcast ads for like I can't even think of them. I hear them all the time.
Oh, easy. You could be hitting a future sponsorship. All these great podcast advertisements. You mean?
Speaking of which, smoke Lucky Strikes. Lucky Strikes means fine.
I don't think we're going to be big enough to. I don't know if we're going to be able to get big enough to get an advertisement next to the moon, but maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, fuck, you never know, man.
Yeah, who knows?
Someday we'll point up to the fucking cosmos.
We'll buy a crater on the moon, and we'll get a little sign put up there that says basically a sports show. And
I think we should like have it set up where when there's a full moon, our little circle logo goes right over top of it. You look up, and everybody looks at the moon. And
everyone looking to see this wonder of nature that's existed for thousands upon millions of years.
And
just
instead, they get Chip carrying a fucking television set.
Chip carrying a television.
We can combine our budget with Totino's, get some pizza rolls in space, get them in orbit.
That would be the best. See, like I don't want any like alternative energy companies or products. I don't want any future tech being advertised in space. I want to look up at the sky and I want to see a fucking Tostino's pizza rolls logo.
Right. Yeah, that would be fine. Like I said, we could have it switch. Like it could be our logo, then it would just kind of morph into Totino's, and then I don't know. Lucky Strike might be pushing it a little bit, but you never know. I mean, it's space. I don't know the rules.
Yeah, they're no advertisers. You can't. They say you can't advertise cigarettes on race cars. They didn't say anything about space
on Earth. They were talking about space. Yeah.
Yeah.
In our lifetimes, for sure, there will be somebody who figures out that they can broadcast, they can project something onto the upper atmosphere that is legible at night.
Yeah.
And for a fact, like it's whether or not it becomes advertising immediately or something else, like there will be, like we've all gotten used to seeing occasionally like airplanes with messages and stuff like that. But like there could be some this like weird shit that'll probably start out pretty cool, but will eventually become advertising. And I don't know. That's going to be a weird world, man. I don't know if I want to live in that world. Like if we're doing that shit, if the fucking night sky is an advertising like real estate thing, like just just cancel it. Just cancel the world. We've fucked up.
You know, I would bet you the technology's already there. Maybe not to make it where you and I could see the same ad from space, because that would have to be really big for that.
Yeah.
But I bet you that there are ways where, like, you could say, like in Chicago or Tampa or Cleveland, where you could. I'm sure the technology's there. They just haven't done it, because it doesn't seem like it would be that difficult to do. I mean, it's like like the bat signal basically, except really big. I don't know. I hope you're right, Andy. I hope that never happens. But you know what? I wouldn't.
You know, we're just starting a good relationship with, like, getting the public to be cool with aliens and shit. And this, I feel like, would just be, it would kind of tarnish that. You know,
well,
like,
if there's anybody that can tarnish it, it'll be Earth.
it's just like, you know, how much of the fucking federal budget did we put towards space ads this year? It's like, I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
If anybody can fuck it up, it'll be an advertising agency. Believe me, probably Nike will be behind it.
Oh,
Speaking of
fuck.
aliens, Mike and I are we're discussing doing the finally getting down around to our alien show that we're going to do here pretty soon, folks. So stay tuned.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god. So a friend of mine just texted me with the same news.
About the space thing?
The space advertisement. Replied, "What a stupid waste of money," with a link.
Yeah, you know, I kind of think it's cool that, you know, what Elon Musk is doing, and to a lesser extent Jeff Bezos with his penis rocket. But
well, everyone, you know, the Virgin Mobile guy beat Bezos into space.
Yeah, that's true. Richard Branson did, right?
Yeah, Branson, you know, fucking, you know, I think he did it. I think he did it just to fuck with Bezos. Like,
I'm sure he did. I would have done it. I would have been like, yeah, I'm going to fuck that other guy. I'm going to beat him to space. But you know, if it's going to mean advertising and all that, maybe we just leave the space stuff to NASA and kind of go.
Well, that's what I was saying. Like people are talking to me. It's like, oh, it's so cool, SpaceX, and I'm like, you know, the U.S. government has an agency that does this, right? You know, you might have heard they put a man on the fucking moon once. Like, like, I don't know. Maybe I'm very idealistic and naive, but I'm like, maybe this should just be in the hands of a non-for-profit civilian government agency.
I'm with you on that. I think what Elon Musk has done has been very impressive. He's actually, I mean, you know, Branson and Bezos basically did suborbital flights, which was like NASA did that shit back the year I was born.
Yeah, that was like year one. Like, you know, we were just gonna put a guy up there and see what happens. Yeah.
Greg? Do we lose Greg?
Greg?
He's going to drop off here in a second, I think.
What were you saying, Andy?
Oh, anyway, I was saying that wasn't the Red Bull. There was a guy it was like a Red Bull sponsored thing that he jumped from a plane. I thought wasn't that from suborbit? Like, it was the last tendrils of.
I think it might have been right on the border between the sky and suborbital space.
Okay.
I don't think you could, like, admittedly, I don't know. I was really into space race history when I was a kid, but you know, I'm not a scientist, so the specifics I'm not 100% sure on.
There you go.
I don't think you could actually jump from suborbital. I don't think you could, or if you could, it would not be a good time.
Yeah. So it was 2012. Stratos was the name of the jump.
Mm-hmm.
And it was from 24 miles into the stratosphere. So I'm not sure how that compares to you know, where Bezos and company went, but I mean, it's essentially the last bit of atmosphere that has gravity enough to pull a human being down.
Yeah. It was, yeah, I think it's just the edge of you know, where suborbital would begin, but you know, I'm not entirely sure about that. Yeah, I'm not sure where. Oh. I think I'm alone. Let's see. I Oh wow. This is interesting. I am running solo on Basically a Sports Show. I'm running solo on Basically a Sports Show, and yeah, Andy and Greg both dropped. So with that in mind, what Chaos Blast, welcome to Basically a Mike Show. Yeah. So with that in mind, we're probably going to end up wrapping it up later. Greg and Andy's internet's both died, so
I'm back.
Oh,
I'm back.
okay. Wow, I was running solo for a moment there.
Good for you, man. Is Andy still gone or not?
Andy dropped just like a minute. Oh, there we go.
Is he back?
Yeah,
you left. I was. It was just me.
Hold down the fort, man. I couldn't hear. I'm like,
it's the NWO invasion. It's the.
Well, let's be careful.
I took down
guys.
all the Basically a Sports Show signs and put up NWO banners.
Welcome to Basically a Mike Show.
Yeah, we talked a lot of shit about the big tech and Elon
the
Musk.
billionaires. Yeah.
So
Bezos and Brenson, and they're like, go fuck yourselves.
I was sitting here, and all of a sudden, I couldn't hear anything. Like it was that weird dead sound you get in your headphones, and I was like, "Uh-oh, what the fuck happened?" And I'm looking around. I'm like, "Did I hit a button? Did I push something wrong?" And then all of a sudden, it popped up on the screen, no internet. I'm like, "Oh shit!" It was out for about, I guess, 2 minutes, maybe 3 here, and I went up.
Yeah, I was actually just about to bid everyone adieu and just head off. Then you guys both came back. So,
I mean, it's about that time anyway, you know. But I just felt bad. I accidentally refreshed. I was trying to read through this Wikipedia page about the Red Bull jump, and all of a sudden I'm like, "Fuck!" Because the page reloaded and Mike couldn't let me back in, and so it's
I didn't have that permission to let him back in. So I was like, "Oh well."
It's
I was just about to be like Aveda Zen and then just drop. And
was it like in Wayne's World when Garth is left to host the show and he has I'm on the show. I'm hosting the show now alone.
No, Mike was probably better without us.
No, I was a bit shocked at first, and then I was like, "All right, well, okay, I guess we're gonna wrap it up." If you'd given me a bit longer, I could have been like, "All right, now it's time to really get opinionated." And
yeah, I'm like, well, fuck, man. And then I went upstairs, and right as I went back upstairs, it popped back on because I'm down here. I'm thinking I unplugged something. I hit a button somewhere because it was like I could still see you guys on the screen, but I couldn't hear anything. And then it just died. Everything went. So I don't know what happened here on our end, but it's back now. So
yeah.
So we were ripping on Bezos, I think, right? And,
yeah, we were just talking about big tech and the penis rocket, and we were trying to decide where everything kind of existed in relation to that 2012 Red Bull jump, which was right on the edge of the atmosphere. How far up did Bezos and co go?
Well, they achieved 0G, right, for a couple minutes. So that's the thing. I mean, can you call it leaving and going into outer space if you don't have to re-enter through the atmosphere?
Well, it's suborbital, and in fairness to Bezos and Branson and everyone else, they went into space by the same standards that Alan Shepard went into space.
Okay, except they did it 60 years later.
Yes.
All right. Well, that's
so if we're gonna call Alan Shepard the first American in space, then we gotta give it to them.
I would say this: between the three, Elon Musk is kicking their asses. That's just there's no way around that. with the SpaceX stuff. But
Well, his company is. I don't know how much input Jeff Bezos or not Jeff Bezos.
well, that's the thing too. It's like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos and Richard Branson. It's like, do you fuckers think these guys are like at home building rockets when they're not doing? No.
They
This
just
is
take all the
hiring
credit.
people to do this. Yeah, come on.
But no, so I was wondering because the flight from 2012, the guy that skydived or skydove,
Felix Baumgartner, is that his name?
yeah, that was from 24 miles up. So Bezos went more than 65 miles.
Yeah.
So they had about 4 minutes of weightlessness. So I think it's what this is inherently it's a challenge to Felix Baumgartner to get your ass up into the 65 mile range and skydive again. Where's your fucking balls? You know, let's.
Dude. You got a record to break here. I remember, from the boards, Lee, and I think you guys all remember him.
Yeah.
When the Baumgartner jump was happening, he said, "This is our moon landing," and I went, "Get the fuck out of here! This isn't even close. Come on, really, dude? No, this isn't your moon landing. The moon landing was your moon landing, even if you weren't here for it. This doesn't even compare to that. This is a guy jumping out of a balloon at the edge of space. It's not the same thing."
Yeah, I mean that's exactly. I mean, I would say the closest thing we'd have is the Mars. Was it Discovery that landed on?
The one that
Curiosity.
landed. That was pretty cool.
Curiosity landed on Mars. That was pretty cool. I don't
Yeah.
think. I mean, I didn't have the like. I think it captured people's imaginations a little bit, but I mean, there will be nothing like the moon landing ever again. That's just the only thing I could think of that would be like that is if like a UFO, flew over. I don't know, a fucking NFL game, and then everyone tuned in.
Probably didn't. No one cared. If
Yeah, true.
History's an indication.
But yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, but yeah, Mike and I are going to actually address the UFOs. Nobody gives a damn thing here next week.
We're going to do a whole paranormal show. We're going to bring that back. And
What's it called?
It's going to be called basically a paranormal show.
Baps.
Baps.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so we're gonna bring that back, and we'll see where it goes. I'm really excited about it because I'm into this shit.
We're going to discuss it, I think, first from a rational standpoint, which is
Yes.
is okay. Let's rule out that they're aliens. What could these things be? Because
Yes.
there's some really compelling evidence out there from our own U.S. government. Which, again, your mileage may vary on how much you believe in that at this point, but I think we want to approach it from that point, and then we'll go the other direction and go, okay, these are fucking aliens, and where'd they come from, and all that. But it'll be fun. We're going to do it the next few days here. We're still
And we're all doomed.
right, but that'll be fun. And I don't know if we're going to do that live or not. I guess we'll have to wait and see.
We'll
do it live.
We'll figure it out.
If you guys want to tune in, we'll do it live. But anyway, are
You
we
guys
done?
want to show? You guys want to show up for aliens?
Yeah. But if we've got nothing else, we'll wrap it up before the internet screws us all again here.
All righty.
Andy, are you still with us?
Yep, I am here.
All right, cool. So we will be back next week. Zach should be back, maybe. I don't know, man. That high school football stuff keeps him really busy.
We'll have to see how things are going with him, but hopefully he's back.
But in the meantime, follow us on Twitter at Basically Sports. Subscribe via Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, the YouTubes, and wherever fine podcasting is sold. We will see you all next time.
Laters.
Bye-bye.